Alright, in this video here we're going to look at rationality and how it impacted the evolution of the seniors program. Now, hopefully you recall from previous videos what the seniors program is. It was a program within a BC health authority. That program was designed to try to prevent frailty in senior citizens and the elderly. And so the researchers of the seniors program thought this was amazing. They found a way to delay frailty. They wanted to spread this throughout the region. The vice presidents, though, were focused on overcrowding in the hospital, so they weren't interested in helping. And the physicians were interested in the financial viability of their clinics. And because there is no billing code that they could charge for this work, they weren't able to adopt the program either. Right? So here we are, we have this system where we have this cure for frailty, or maybe not a cure, but we certainly have these treatments that help delay frailty or potentially reverse it. And we have these forces in the healthcare authority that aren't supportive of it and really aren't interested in helping. So what role did rationality play in this particular situation? Let's have a look. So we have researchers and we have the senior vice presidents. That's what I'm going to focus on here. The researchers relied on technocratic rationality. Technocratic rationality assumes that there is an objective truth out there, and through the application of the scientific method, we can learn what those truths are. So these guys, they did an evidence-based research project. They did a scientific experiment to figure out, can we delay frailty? And yay, they found out that they could. The vice presidents, however, were using different forms of rationality to inform their decisions. They were relying on economic rationality and bureaucratic rationality. Economic rationality explores how do people make utility maximizing decisions. So for example, how do we maximize the capacity of our hospitals? They were focused on overcrowding, so economic rationality is a useful tool to help us figure out how do we maximize capacity? How do we deal with the overcrowding here? Bureaucratic rationality covers a lot of different things. Now, one of the things that bureaucratic rationality discusses or explores is what are the boundaries of our authority? What is the scope of our activity? Now, the vice presidents had the real belief that the purpose of a healthcare authority is to look after sick people, right? Makes sense. People get sick, then they come to the hospital and we treat them. However, the seniors program wasn't dealing with sick people. The seniors program was going out into the community before people became sick. They're going out into the community and they're looking at otherwise healthy people and trying to see if there is a way that they could prevent them from becoming sick. And so the vice presidents were like, that's not really our job. Our job is we treat sick people. When people get sick, they come to us. Preventing illness is somebody else's job. So there is this issue of the scope of authority. That's a component of bureaucratic rationality. And so because the vice presidents were relying on economic rationality and bureaucratic rationality to make their decisions, the technocratic rationality of the seniors program was insufficient to convince the vice presidents to help. However, the seniors program didn't take this line down. They kept working at this. And what they did is they started to add in different forms of rationality to their arguments. So for example, they added body rationality and emotional rationality. So how did they do this? Well, it just so happened that the vice presidents of the organization were of the age where they're kind of in the same demographic as the target population of the seniors program. The seniors program was looking at, elderly people who were not yet frail but at risk of becoming so, and seeing can we intervene to make them healthy. The senior vice presidents were like, oh gee, I'm an elderly person who is currently healthy but at risk of becoming frail. Like suddenly the vice presidents could see themselves in the seniors program. Let me tell you, there's nothing that focuses the mind and resolve like impending old age and death. So all of a sudden, this program seemed really relevant to the senior vice presidents, right? So that kind of got the senior vice president's attention. Another form of rationality that the seniors program used was contextual or cultural rationality. So what that means is it means that they understood their organization. They were veterans. They'd worked for many years, for decades, within the BC Health Authority. They understood the personalities of the different individuals involved. They knew who the vice presidents were. They knew their personalities. They knew what they liked, what they didn't like. They understood the language of the organization that they needed to speak in order to make compelling arguments. And they used this to full extent. So by combining body rationality, emotional rationality, and this contextual rationality in combination with the technocratic rationality, they were able to suddenly make really compelling and really convincing arguments that started to bring the vice presidents on board. The vice presidents were starting to think that the seniors program might be worthwhile after all, right? So this is an example of how rationality impacted the seniors program. I focused on the senior vice presidents and the researchers. You might want to take a moment to think about the researchers and the physicians, the family physicians in the community. What do you think were the different types of rationality that was driving each individual's behavior? And what rationalities might you use to try to create a more compelling argument to those family physicians, right? So you might do that on your own. Anyway, I look forward to seeing you next lesson. So I hope you're having a fantastic day, and I will see you later.